I love my city art collection, which is event number 10 in the Art Centre's 25th birthday celebrations. While the collection started back in 1968, it wasn't until 25 years ago that it actually found a permanent home here in this building. And over the last 25 years, we've continued to acquire works at a great rate with purchases and donations, lots of amazing donations. And it's our continued desire to show the depth of this collection. And we thought with this exhibition, it'd be wonderful to involve members of the community in the process. Instead of us picking what we might want to put on the walls, we thought we'd invite a selection of Gold Coast individuals to come and choose their favourite piece from the collection. So what you'll see tonight is quite a diverse exhibition, ranging from one of the oldest, most historically significant paintings, the J.H. Granger down the front, to a magnificent contemporary photograph that was acquired just last year in Julie Ratt's work here from the Photography Award. So the exhibition showcases the depth of the collection's holdings as we look to the future for a gallery that might befittingly show the works in our collection in permanent exhibition spaces. So we'd like to thank all 25 selectors who have been able to come and join us tonight, or some of them have been able to join us tonight, for taking the time to come and select their pieces. I'd also like to make a special mention to our youngest selector, Jose Kim, from Benalla Primary School, who's here tonight, and he himself is a budding artist, I believe. And so it now gives me great pleasure to introduce one of our selectors to say a few words about her choices, or her choice, and to facilitate some discussions with her fellow selectors. So would you please welcome from ABC Gold Coast FM, the fabulous Nicole Dyer.
Hello. I hope you're suitably relaxed with those martinis, because I am. So here goes. My painting of choice is that big green painting. If you look directly behind and watch my gaze over there, is by Anne Wallace, and it's called Seersucker. Absurdism just doesn't register. You have an old vintage phone with an octopus tentacle coming out of the earpiece, sitting on a table with a book, and you think to yourself, yeah, you don't see that every day. And then you start to think, and in my case, it's really funny, Virginia Rigney said, is this an indictment of the media getting into all facets of society? And I said, no, it's not. It's actually about my memories, my love-hate relationship with the old vintage phone. Before there were caller IDs, before there were photo IDs and SMSs and tweets, and I can just go on. There was this simple phone, and every household had one, maybe two, and an extension cord. There was no answering service. There was nothing, and it was beautiful. It was the innocent days of the phone, and it would ring. And there was this expectation that someone was calling, and you didn't know who it was. It could be that boy or girl whose number you gave in the blue light disco. You wouldn't know. It could be Auntie Jan, who wants to talk to you for 45 minutes about her home perm and thinks she's got the right to do so because she gave you $5 in a birthday card. And you don't want to because you want to watch Sale of the Century. It could be your best friend who you want to speak to for hours but you can't because your mum and your dad are looking at the clock saying, this is costing us a fortune. And somebody might be trying to get through. This is not good. Get off the phone now. These were the innocent days of the telephone, and this, Anne Wallace, is what you made me remember. My love-hate relationship with the phone, and I adore you for it. What would Alexander Graham Bell say if he saw where the phone has gone? He would probably tweet on his smartphone, Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you. Curator of the gallery, Virginia Rigney, who is with record-holding Iron Woman Hayley Baker.
Can you tell us, why did you like this work?
I guess for me, I don't think about it too deeply. I just know what I like, and I went through all the pieces, and this one kept standing out to me. And I guess what I think when I look at it is he's striving for perfection, but not quite attaining it. And I guess society puts too much pressure on about beauty and things like that. So that's just my opinion of it. But I just think it's absolutely stunning, and I would love to have that piece in my house.
And here I am with Dr. Deborah Bailey. She picked the work by poet Senator Katha Petru called Sisters Rock. and the work was acquired as the winner of the Josephine Ulrich and Lee Schubert Photography Award in 2009. So Deborah, why did you select this work?
I'm glad I had the martini as well. You know, when we said to my son, we're going to go to the art gallery tonight, because I've got to do a presentation about art, he said, you don't know anything about art. you don't like art. And we pointed out to him that we all have some art that we like in ourselves, something that appeals to us, something that speaks to us. And there's nothing better than having a collection that we can't possibly afford, that we can access, and all of us will find something that challenges us, challenges our perception. And this art piece challenges my perception. It's not the comfortable thing that I might have picked for my living room, but it's something that makes me think a bit differently about the world, about children and their place in the world, and I'm a paediatric surgeon, and about what art actually is. And for me, that's what art should do. It should challenge your perception of how you should think about the world.
Not artworks, but they're important, a really important part of the material culture and history of our city as a city that is a tourism city. And these souvenirs tell us a lot about who we are. So Peter, tell us why you like them.
Well, thanks, Virginia. I spent about an hour looking at all the paintings and so forth, and then on my way out I was looking at this and thinking, this really takes me back to my youth. I can remember as a 9 or 10-year-old coming up from Grafton in northern New South Wales to SeaWorld, to some of the theme parks, to some of the restaurants around the city, and I particularly was taken with the Snow Dome, SeaWorld. And I defy anyone. Sorry, I can't pick it up. Hold on. Shit, sorry. I defy anyone of my vintage to not have a SeaWorld or Movie World Snow Dome. So, as you can see, it really is a trip down memory lane. A real sort of rich cultural diversity that the city has really grown up. I mean, we really are, or really were, a sleepy seaside village back in the 70s and late 60s, and we've grown to this, wonderful cosmopolitan city, and I think this sort of encapsulates that youthfulness and that innocence that was very much part of that era.
Work behind me by Clifford Possum Duckledari. Why did you select this work?
Pretty simple, really. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming tonight. I lived overseas a lot when I was a young kid. My father was a trade commissioner, and we travelled and we lived in Hong Kong and the Philippines and Canada and various other places. And as a young kid, I just pined for home. And anything at that time, we often had Australian products in our house. It was Dad's job to introduce importers from overseas countries to Australian products. And one of those things was Aboriginal art. And from a pretty early age, Dad would explain to me that these are stories, that it's part history and part map. If you ask me, that's how big a bloody referendum should be. And then you wouldn't have to change pages to find where you're going. I've always found them intriguing. I've got a beautiful friend who's no longer with us, and she was a great philanthropist in this country, and she was so rude and so lovely, and she bought hundreds of these, and owned quite a few Clifford Possums, and she always described them as bloody dollar a dots. But we just love them. I've loved them since I was little. As I said, you can follow a story in here, and overwhelmingly, what I love about them is that somewhere in Australia, this place exists. And if I ever owned a piece of Aboriginal art, I would love to have it on my wall and then go there. So it would be sort of a complete circle for me. That's why.
Congratulations on 25.
1, 2, 3.
Happy 25th birthday to the Art Centre. Yay!
Happy birthday to you. Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
What? Just hands. You gonna say the line? Happy
Happy birthday, Art Centre!
Happy birthday to you.
Main Street.